Welcome to WeLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 11, Female Reproductive System and Functions. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are introduction, changes at the onset of adolescence, the internal organs, the external organs, menstrual cycle and the onset of puberty, pregnancy and healthcare. Coming towards the first topic, that is the introduction. The formative years, when the maximum amount of physical, psychological and behavioral changes take place. These years are also a time of preparation of undertaking greater responsibilities, a time for exploration and winding horizons, and a time to ensure healthy all-round development. Next is the changes at the onset of adolescence. Adolescence is often described as a phase of life that begins in biology and ends in society. The change is evident in the physical as well as psychological and social development. When rapid changes in body size or proportions take place, physical changes in the reproductive system also occur, leading to sexual maturity. The internal and external body parts that are necessary for reproduction are collectively referred to as the reproductive system. Sexual maturation consists of two types of changes in the reproductive system, the primary and the secondary. Those that relate to the primary sex organs such as penis and testis in male and the vagina and the ovaries in female are called primary sex characteristics, whereas associated changes visible on the body are referred to as secondary sex characteristics. These include breast development in female, facial hair or beard in males, and the growth of underarm and pubic hair in both the sexes. Next are the external organs. The external genitalia of the female are known as vulva, which means covering, or the pudendum, meaning a thing of shame. The vulva is the area between the thighs behind a hairy part which is in front. The mons pubis consists of part of fatty tissue covering the pubic bone. The mons pubis is covered with the pubic hair which appears at the time of puberty. The pubic hair is stiff, coarse and curly. The thickness and curliness of the hair depends not only on the hormones but also on a racial and genetic factors. Next are the internal organs. In internal organs, the number one is the vagina. The vagina is a muscular tube or passage way that connects the neck of the uterus and the external opening at the vulva. It is about 4 to 5 inches long. The inner wall of the vagina is lined by the membrane which has large folds, giving it a wrinkled appearance. The inner wall of the vagina is moist due to certain which are acidic and serve a protective purpose against germs causing diseases. Next is the vaginal discharge. The moisture consists mainly of mucus from the cervix and a watery fluid which comes from the vaginal walls. It is scanty and is not sufficient to mark the underclothes. When women experience persistent increase in quality of vaginal secretion, we call it leukorrhea, which can occur in a number of diseases. Misinformation. The front and rear walls of the vagina are normally in contact. This permits distension and has the effect of allowing the passage to adapt to the penis of any shape and size. It is never too narrow for the intercourse. There is misinformation about the length and width of vagina both among men and women. Use of vagina. Thus, as we may have observed, the vagina has essentially three uses. Number one, it provides a way for the baby to leave the uterus. Hence, the vagina is also called the birth canal. Number two, it receives the man's penis during sexual intercourse. That is how the sperms get inside the uterus. And the third one is it provides a path for menstrual fluid to leave the body. Next is the uterus. The uterus, which is commonly known as the womb, is the childbearing organ. It is a pear-shaped muscular organ that lies between the urinary bladder in front and the rectum behind. It is about 8 cm in length and 5 cm in breadth at the upper end and 1 inch at the lower end. The upper part of the uterus is connected to the tubes and called the body of the uterus. The interior of the uterus is a narrow triangle-shaped cavity. This cavity is lined with a special membrane called the endometrium and is surrounded by thick muscular walls. This narrow cavity undergoes extensive change in pregnancy and during the menstrual cycle. The muscles of the uterus contract during labor to deliver the fetus from the uterus. The uterus is the strongest muscle in the woman's body. It is so strong that it is able to push the baby out at childbirth. Next is the ovaries. The ovaries are two female sex glands and counterpart of testes in the male. These glands are small and almond shaped, located on the each side of the uterus and are attached by the ligament. The ovaries are the most important organ of the entire female reproductive apparatus and correspond in function of the male testicles. The ovaries produce ova, which are the female reproductive cells. Next is the breast. The breasts are another pair of reproductive organ in the female. The breast contain milk glands and produce milk, and the milk ducts that carry the milk to the nipple so that the infant is able to have its feed. These milk glands and milk ducts are surrounded and protected by the fatty tissue. The production of milk starts only after childbirth. When a woman is pregnant, her body begins to produce the pregnancy hormones. These hormones help the breast to grow and get ready to make milk. It also helps every part of the woman's body to adapt to being pregnant. Next are the menstrual cycle and the onset of puberty. Menstruation is the flow of blood, fluid and tissue out of the uterus from the vagina. It may last between 3 to 7 days. The menstrual cycle is on the time from the beginning of one period to the beginning of the next one. Usually, menstrual cycle lasts about 28 days. However, some may last for about 20 days or so. whereas in some cases they may extend to 35 or 40 days. In in exceptional cases, they may still last longer, even for a couple of months. These variations may be caused by the sickness, nervous tension, emotional upset, physical injury, traveling, fatigue, change in climate, or other circumstances. When pregnancy begins, menstrual cycles and ovulations stop. Once the woman is no longer pregnant or fully nursing, the normal pattern of the menstrual cycle is resumed. After childbirth, usually the menstrual cycle resumes only after about 100 days. However, in some women, it may resume only after 6 months. There is misconception that a subsequent pregnancy may not occur as long as a woman continues to breastfeed her child. Pregnancy can occur even while one is breastfeeding child. Some girls and women may have cramp on the first day or two of their period. Some may have mood swings or dispersion. They may become uncomfortable before each of their period begin. They may have physical or emotional discomfort up to 2 weeks before menstruation. This is called premenstrual syndrome. During the period of menstruation, there is no need for a woman to restrain from her normal activities. On the whole, however, it is advisable to avoid strenuous activity. Pregnancy and health care. If sexual intercourse takes place in the period of ovulation, the consequences may be the fertilization of the egg and hence pregnancy. Fertilization during the intercourse, about 200 to 300 million of sperms are ejaculated in the vagina. When one sperm touches the egg, the former secretes a substance that facilitates the penetration of the head of the sperm, though a hole formed in the wall of the ovum. At this time, the tail of the sperm drops off. At the same point of time, the outer membrane of the egg hardens, preventing the other sperm from entering. The nucleus of the sperm unites with that of the ovum to form a single nucleus. The entire process is called fertilization. Next is the growth of child during pregnancy. As the zygote is pushed slowly towards the uterus, rapid changes take place. It first divides into two cells which remain attached to each other, then into 4 cells, and so on. After 5 days, it reaches the uterus and resembles a fruit with many seeds. By the 10th day after fertilization, the zygote measures about 2 mm in diameter. The hormones produced by the corpus lutein are important to continuation of pregnancy only during the first 12 weeks. After that, the production of hormones is increasingly taken over by the placenta, which produces HCG, estrogen, and progesterone. The first 12 weeks of pregnancy are the most important and vulnerable because all the vital organs, the heart and the brain are being formed. Due precautions should be taken during this period to avoid X-rays, certain drugs, and exposures to virus. Every living organism requires nourishment for its growth and needs to get rid of its waste products. For the fetus, the placenta serves these needs. The placenta is an oval organ about 8 inches in diameter. When fully developed and is attached to endometrium, it prevents the blood of the mother from entering into the circulation of the fetus, while allowing the passage of oxygen and nourishing elements and simultaneously helping to excrete the waste products of the fetus. The fetus is connected to the placenta by the umbilical cord, which contain blood attached to the navel of the baby. The placenta in turn is attached to the inner lining of the cavity of the uterus and is therefore in direct contact with the blood of the mother, which is the source of nutrition to the fetus. Next is delivery. 260 days after fertilization, the fetus is completely developed. The word delivery refers to the birth of the baby. However, the whole process can be described in 3 stages. The first stage is the uterine contraction, which are rhythmic contraction of the uterus. They are painful to the mother and occur at the interval of 10 to 15 minutes. Each wave of pain lasting for about 30 seconds. With these contractions, the fetus is forced downward. The second stage begins when the cervix is fully dilated and ends with the delivery of the baby. With each uterine contraction, the head of the child is pushed downward. Then one shoulder appears, followed by the other, and soon the rest of the body is delivered. With the change in temperature, the child is stimulated to cry. A few seconds after the umbilical cord has been cut, air flows into the child's lung for the first time in order to oxygenate the blood. This stage lasts for about an hour in the first delivery and 10 to 30 minutes in the subsequent deliveries. In the third stage, following the birth of the child, the placenta is expelled. The stage may last from 10 to 30 minutes. After the birth of the child, the uterus shrinks in the size and so does the area where the placenta is detached from the uterine wall. With this stage, the whole process of delivery is completed. Next are the physical and emotional care of the child in the womb. At no other time during the lifespan are there more serious hazards to development or of a more serious nature than during the relatively short period before birth. Care regarding physical factors. Maternal nutrition plays a vital role in the normal development, especially the development of the fetal brain. Excessive smoking and drinking are detrimental to normal development, especially during the periods of the embryo and fetus. Also, maternal age has often been reported as a condition that may lead to the possibility of physical hazards during parental period. Care regarding psychological factors. During the early formative years, there are 3 important psychological hazards to the unborn child's well-being. These are traditional beliefs about parental development, maternal stress during parental period, and unfavorable attitude towards the unborn child on the part of people who plays significant roles in the child's life. Now in the last, there are few questions which are based on this session. Question number 1 is, enumerate the usefulness of the vagina. And number 2, How early can a woman find out whether she is pregnant? That's all for this session. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.